So going back to your comment about Sky Sports, is TV coverage not a double-edged sword in that, yes, it's great to have the good quality stuff, um, but does it affect crowds? I mean, for example, we have a situation, as I understand it, and you would know better, obviously, not only Crayford, but also Central Park, that RPG TV would pay the same amount for a fairly average graded meeting as they would for a good open class meeting. Um, is it doing the tracks any favors when people basically get to see a category one race for free, probably contributing nothing off a free Sky or a free subscription? Um, is that not undermining the open racing and in terms of making major events of them?
Well, I think you're right to a degree in that I suppose it's a bit like Sky Sports paying for football. When you pay your subscription or whatever, you watch football, you're generally getting a high class match. So they're paying top premium for that product. I think generally the majority of racing is graded fair, and there is a fee that is negotiated and paid for to buy all of the racing, and that incorporates the open racing and graded racing and what you know throughout the year. I think the problem is the bookmakers are paying for that in that they I think it's direct to home. There's a separate standalone company that the bookmakers pay for. It's called direct to home, and that would pay for the racing that appears on RPG TV. But at the end of the day, they're also paying for it to be going into their shops as well. And I don't think they'd want to be paying any more. Personally, I think it ties in, as you said there, with the shop window that we need, and that really is to put our premier race competitions on Sky. And now, okay, the first, I can hear the noise now. Well, where are we going to pay for that? We haven't got any money. Well, I think there is a waste of money that's coming in through the fund. I mean, let's break that down. I mean, there's 2 million a year, which would amply cover, I think, the paying of getting our premier competitions onto Sky. 2 million a year that's coming in from the fund to enhance prize money. Buy a fiver a race, by £5 per dog. Well, as an owner, I think that doesn't mean a great deal. I think all that's happening there is that we're subsidising the promoters. At the end of the day, we've got to find the money from somewhere to raise the profiles of the tracks, and that has to be on, in my view, on Sky. And that money can be found by reevaluating what we do with the fund money. We also pay the tracks integrity money, that it's called, and that basically pays something towards vets, pays for their paddock stewards and so forth. Well, that's their business. The promoters have their business. They should be paying for that. They are providing a service. And if by taking away that £5 per runner, it's costing the promoters more because they want to supplement the prize money, then renegotiate with the media companies. I mean, this is a two-way street, really. But certainly, I think the £5 a runner is neither here nor there, and could be used in better ways to promote the sport, get us back on Sky, and market on an individual basis from that locally, and get people through the doors. But you have to get every promoter on side with this, and I'm not entirely sure that every promoter wants to go to that trouble, and we can see that by tracks like Crayford. I keep coming back to Crayford, not racing on a Saturday night because they haven't got a media contract. That is just completely ridiculous. I just don't understand it.
I'm just cutting across you there, Barry. But Crayford are racing on Saturday nights, aren't they?
Not if they're not on RPG TV.
Oh, don't they?
No. No.
So they actually
not
cancel
economically
Saturday
viable. It's not economically viable. They've made that. They've used that as an excuse. And there's no track that hasn't got a media contract that will race on a Friday or Saturday night. There's lots of tracks that don't.
Yeah. So it's entirely the fact that they are racing every Saturday is purely dependent on that.
But they're being broadcast and they're getting paid for it. Yes.
Yeah. Because again, in the whole sort of the ballpark of talking about TV. And how do you feel when we have a scenario, for example, like the Irish Derby final or even the English Derby final, where there is a secondary meeting being broadcast? I'm thinking about this is Barry Stanton, the owner, not necessarily the track promoter. I'm speaking to at this stage. That doesn't it cheapen the large meeting, the better meetings when they've sorry, we've got to cut across from the presentation of the last race, to go and watch an A6 from Monmore or Crayford or wherever it may be.
No, I agree. I mean, the top race where we used the Derby as an example. I mean, I know RPG TV aren't Sky, and they haven't got the infrastructure to put on a Sky type meeting, but they do have people in attendance at the track. And I think, you know, if it's the Derby, then that should be the only meeting on that evening, and they can build up around the races. I mean, you get the odd interview. You have Julie Collier running around talking to a number of people, asking the same question. You know, how do you feel about that? You've just won. How do you feel about winning the Derby? Well, I mean, surprise, surprise. I'm quite happy about it. I mean, there has to be more to it than that. And I agree with you. It does diminish. It does belittle those other owners. I mean, everybody has a Derby winner. Every owner thinks their dog's in their mind a Derby winner. So, you know, it's a lot of them will be taken home as pets as well at the end of the day, and yeah, they deserve exposure as anyone else does. So it should be, you know, it should be limited to the Derby, and it shouldn't affect, you know, the normal racing.